Okay. Um, let's try this. So Albor's Massa here again, and I couldn't really sleep last night. Got inspired by and I apologize if I look like shit, but I just really want to get like these videos out there and kind of put out what I know and what I think, because I like the way I'm looking at this is I recently just got laid off from my job. I was working at a tech company. I don't know if I should say the exact name. Um, but basically, I just want to make these videos where like I provide as much help as I can based on the experiences I've had, while omitting as many like details of people in my life and things that I've done to for their privacy or protection. Like I said, apologies for looking tired. So I recently got laid off from some work, and basically I'm on this like little job hunt again now. And I saw a video by Gary V, and he was talking about how um, he has so much like influential power now, but going back and looking at his 20s, if he could say something, he'd just make like content talking about like his intuition. And he recommended to a 20-year-old to make a video about just his climb up the ladder. So I think I have a lot to kind of like give, like especially not only in terms of work, but like just personal life experience, like overcoming, challenges like anxiety and depression, and things like that. But yeah, so I recently got laid off with this job I was doing because the position was no longer needed. They said mainly because they had created the position in anticipation for a product launch that they were going to do, but once the product kind of came out during my time there, they realized that not a lot of tickets were coming in basically for the support position I had. So um, because of that, pretty much, they kind of told me like, "Oh, your service is not needed," and I was a little kind of butthurt slash confused, being like, like so out of the blue, is it something I've done? Did I do something wrong? And they basically told me like, no, it's just the senior development can manage it. And that's the point where I decided to just kind of reach out to my network and my contacts. And recently I met a family that are billionaires, actually. And I know that sounds kind of crazy. You're probably like, oh, it could be bullshitting, but I really did. And I party with the guy, and I'm close, pretty good friends with him now. Um, and people ask me like, "Oh, how did you do that?" And how that happened was, so kind of just to flashback a little bit. I used to be a lot more shy and a lot more, um, not shy, just like doubting myself and kind of reserved. But one time I was walking through my building, and I saw a guy, Indian-looking guy, not super tall, skinny guy, and I was waiting to talk to the concierge, and he was standing behind me. And most of my life, up until I was 21, I'm 25 now, I would probably hesitate to talk to someone, even though I'd look at him and think like, oh, I wonder what that guy's doing here. I felt like I wanted to start a conversation. I'd be kind of shy to do it. I'd be kind of like holding myself back from doing that. So over the past 4 years, I kind of like taught myself, or kind of like pushed myself to be able to do things like that. So I basically just turned around and said, um, hey, do you live in the building too? Like, what do you do? You look like you work in tech? And I have this thing about people. Like, once I feel like for me, I got it from just being able to read people pretty well, and it just comes from like I just met a lot of people in my life, and I've been able to kind of like categorize them, like just the way they dress and like the way they act and their body language into the type of profession I think they're in, and I just take a guess at it. And sometimes I'm wrong, sometimes I'm right. But I find it's nice to kind of like lead into a conversation. So I told him, "Oh, you look like you're in tech," and I told him I'm launch, and he said yes. He lives in the building too, and I said I'm working on a startup, and I kind of asked him for his feedback on it. Um, The funny thing is, I found out he ended up working at a very big company. I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but it's one of the top three, like out of Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon. And he's a pretty high up position in it. So we kind of just started talking, and then I took him over to my buddy who was waiting for me at the Starbucks, doing the startup work, and took him over there, introduced him, pitched the idea to him, and he kind of gave his feedback. And from there, I found out he was living on the floor, same floor as me, right across. This has happened in the first interaction that we had, and we kind of just like started chatting and like hanging out more. And then he introduced me to this guy whose family's his grandfather's a billionaire, and he was launching an app, and he was having an app launching party. And so one night I was at my buddy's place, who works at that tech company, and in the building, and then the billionaire boy comes over, and they're chatting, and because of that, I kind of got to know him. I got invited to the party, started hanging out with him, networked with him, and just being associated with all of them kind of worked my way into this circle. Um, I think a lot of people, I don't, okay, maybe not a lot of people. I definitely know I struggled with this kind of like coming into social circles, and like meeting people that I wanted to hang out with, um, and kind of coming out of this like loneliness and all that. And yeah, if I can talk a little bit about them, I'm just gonna pause the video.